A guy who I rate very heavily, Jamal Musiala. I think he is the best young attacking midfielder in world football. I know that you got guys like Jude Bellingham, Florian Wirtz, and like all these other midfielders who are in the conversation, but I'm not a biased fan here. I can admit that Jamal Musiala is better than Jude. He's an absolute baller. As an attacking midfielder, Musiala is the best for me. Like, when I think of guys who can be the best at their position in the next 4 to 5 years, Jamal Musiala is up there for me. And before we even talk about the teams that want him, right away, I'm going to say this. I don't think he leaves Bayern Munich. They can't let him leave. You don't let somebody that's 21 years old, he's German as well, and he's already one of the best midfielders in the world. You can't let him leave. Bayern Munich are not that kind of club. They're not a selling team, and they're not some club that's going to get rid of players that they want to keep. Right? Bayern Munich are arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I think behind Real Madrid, they have the highest standards in world football. Like, if you're a manager at Bayern Munich, you can get sacked even if you win the league, because that's a requirement. They expect to do that. You winning the Bundesliga is nothing that's impressive to them. And I know that there's been a lot of rumors linking Jamal Musiala away with the move to the Premier League or Spain. But I read earlier that it was because he did not get along with Thomas Tuchel. And if that's the case, then all that he has to do is just wait for this summer, because Tuchel is out after this season. So I don't think he's going to leave. But if any team ends up buying him, it's going to cost them a lot of money. I would say like this. Like, any team that buys Jamal Musiala, unless you're PSG, because they've bought Neymar and Mbappe for a crazy amount of money. Outside of them, any other team, he will be a record signing. He will be. Because you're going to have to pay at least 130, maybe even 150 million to sign this guy. Because I think Bayern rate him that highly. Let's see. So Vinny says, if Chelsea get a good striker, they could really benefit. No, I agree. And maybe Lukaku comes back. Why not bring him back? Who knows? But yeah, as far as Jamal Musiala is concerned, you got Man City, Liverpool, Barcelona, and PSG are all linked to him. And I think he'd be a fantastic signing for all 4 of these clubs. I think he walks into the starting 11 at all 4 of these clubs. But I think the most likely situation, if Jamal Musiala does leave Bayern Munich, which, again, I think he will end up staying. I think he will sign a long-term deal. I think he is the future of that club. But in a dream world, if he does leave, I think Man City makes the most sense. And I think this is the most likely scenario of any of these teams that could possibly get him. Because Man City, they're going to need to replace Kevin De Bruyne really soon. You guys saw the reports that KDB may go to Saudi Arabia this offseason, right? That Saudi money might be too much for him to pass up. On top of that, De Bruyne, his legs are not what they used to be. Like, you see now, when teams press Man City, he struggles. You saw it against Liverpool, and you're going to be seeing it, I think, in the future as well, because Liverpool have given us the blueprint on how to play against City. If you press them, they will crumble. Like, Kevin De Bruyne doesn't track back, and even though I get it, he's one of the best passers in world football, I think his game is a bit overrated. Like, I'd much rather have Jamal Musiala over Kevin De Bruyne. I think that Musiala does more things better than him. Now, I get it. De Bruyne, to me, him and Haaland have real good connection, and he can shoot the ball from outside the box really well. But for me, Musiala is right up there, and he's 21 years old. But, like, what can't this kid do? Attacking midfielder, can play as an 8, can play on the wings as well, can link play, can hold the ball up. He's technical, can do give and goes. He can put out a nice pass as well, and he can shoot the ball. I think his scoring isn't talked about as much because he doesn't do it as often, and his GA is not as high as maybe some people would like it to be. And I know that now online, that's all that anybody cares about is goals and assists. But Jamal Musiala offers so much more than that. If you guys actually watch him play, he is a baller. Like, when you guys saw him play against Arsenal, he was one of the best players on the pitch. He was cooking. And they didn't even really have the ball that much like that. I think this kid's going straight to the top, and there's just no way Bayern let him go. But Man City, to me, make the most sense because they will spend the money that it's required to get him if there is a possibility. And I think he'd fit right into how Pep likes to play as well. Now, moving from Man City, I think Liverpool, them being linked is laughable. Their owner's not going to pay a lot of money, right? Like, they don't spend the money that's required to get a player of Jamal Musiala's level. It's going to cost too much money. And I think with their future being so uncertain at the moment, with Klopp leaving, we don't even know who's going to be their next manager. How the hell can they go talk to Jamal Musiala right now? Like, how are they actually linked with a move to him? Who's their manager? That's why when you see all these big name players being linked with the move to Liverpool right now, it's all nonsense. Because why would Musiala consider Liverpool without knowing who their coach is going to be? Now, if Jurgen Klopp was there, I'd say, yeah, sure, there's a chance. But it's about to be dark times for Liverpool. I think they're going to go and they're going to fall off a little bit. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Luis Diaz may leave. I think you're going to see a few departures with Klopp. So, yeah, for me, Liverpool doesn't really make too much sense. I think it costs too much money, and we don't even know who their manager is going to be. I don't think any big player is really considering signing for Liverpool this summer, and they don't have aura like that. I know Liverpool are arguably the second biggest club or the biggest club in England, but like when I think of Anfield and everything that they have going on, I don't really see them as that attractive, and their ownership group sucks. So, yeah, for me, Liverpool, not happening. I think Barcelona, that would be a fantastic signing for them, but they don't have the money. Now, I've always said this. Barca are lying. They're not as broke as they want people to believe. They make a lot of money every single season. Barca are a top 5 club in generated revenue every single year. They sell a lot of jerseys, ticket sales, merchandise, everything, like the sponsorships. Barca are not that broke. But do I believe that they have 130 to 140 million to spend on Jamal Musiala? No, I do not. So even though I think he'd fit at Barca, and that midfield of maybe De Jong, Pedri, Musiala, oh my goodness. Yo, that would be tough. Now, they might have to replace one of them with maybe a more defensive-minded midfield, right? Like somebody that can sit back and kind of play as like that 6 role. But that'd be a very good midfield. And I think Jamal Musiala would be a good signing for them. But again, they just don't have the money to spend. And then PSG, to me, is the second likeliest option. Like, let's say if Man City don't get him, I think PSG can. And I've said it before. When I look at that PSG starting 11 that I saw versus Barcelona, and I looked in their midfield and their attack, I almost laughed. I said, is this Wolves or is this PSG? Like, what the hell is going on here? And I think alongside Warren Zaire-Emery in that squad, maybe Vitinha, he looks like a decent player. Their midfield is shit. And I know that Xavi Simons is going to be coming back this summer from RB Leipzig, but is Xavi Simons better than Jamal Musiala? I don't think so. So if I'm PSG and you're going to be losing Mbappe this summer, maybe you are thinking, yo, if we go get Jamal Musiala, now we get the fans back on side. They're not going to be as mad about losing Mbappe because we're just bringing in some big name players. And I think he would cook there. And I think also PSG have the money that is required to spend to get him. So we'll see where he ends up going. I'm personally saying Bayern Munich are not going to let him go. There's no way. They are not a selling club. They're already going to lose Alphonso Davies this summer. They might lose Leroy Sané. Who knows? But I think if they had to keep any of those guys, it's definitely going to be Jamal Musiala. Big-time player. I think he kind of got screwed a little bit with the individual award in terms of like the best young player and some other trophies this season that he lost out to Jude. I think, the Real Madrid tax is real. Like, Jude Bellingham cooking at Real Madrid. So obviously, people are just going to shoehorn him to get awards and all that. But just on ability, as a number 10, Musiala is clear. Jude's not a 10. Jude is only playing in this position as like a free roaming midfielder because we don't have a striker. So he has been a number 10 / false 9, even our striker at times. And that's why you see him scoring so many goals inside the box. And he's been doing a fantastic job this season. I rate Jude because what he's doing this season is something that we haven't seen him do before. But he's not a creative player. He is not a 10. Jude is a box-to-box 8. Maybe even a 6, if you want to be honest, but more so an 8. That's what Jude is. So, to me, Musiala, I like him more than Florian Wirtz. I think how people talk about Phil Foden, how people talk about Bukayo Saka, and players like that, and Jude and these other guys, I think Musiala definitely has to be in those conversations. And on likelihood that he leaves, I think it's Man City, PSG. Those are the only two teams right now that I can see getting him. I'd love for Madrid to go in for him, but we're just not going to spend that much money on a midfielder right now because our midfield is super strong at the moment. We don't need that. We need a striker, left back, right back, and a center back. So, yeah, would definitely love him there, though, but I think he stays at Bayern Munich. They're not going to want to sell him, bro. He is the future of German football. And being the biggest club in Germany, why would you want to let go of arguably one of the biggest talents from your country? So get a conversation, though. And if you're Jamal Musiala, which club would you want to join between Man City, Liverpool, Barca, and PSG? Now,